Go. Welcome to another episode of Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta, your host. Today, we are going to talk all about creating a process or creating a pricing structure in today's economy. Now, it's going to be a pretty interesting topic because this is not like if you're just starting out your company. This is for all of you who have a company and who might be adjusting your pricing right now due to the amazing inflation that we're experiencing, said with all the sarcasm that you can interpret there, and also with the rising, minimum wage laws. So we need to really talk about this because there are a lot of my jumpers, a lot of my businesses that are doing really well with this. And then there's some other people who are literally going under and who are cash poor. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying that the economy is going to get worse before it gets better. And I really want to encourage you all to have some cash in the bank, have some cash in your business bank account, because you might have some rainy days and you want to be prepared for it. You don't want to be caught with your pants down like a lot of people were in 2020, where they're robbing from Peter to give to Paul just to stay afloat. And so hopefully today's podcast is going to ignite some ideas for you that you're going to start really thinking about what can you do to kind of recession proof and grow your business. Now, I also want to say this with the caveat that the last time we had a recession, a really big, impact on a lot of businesses was in 2008 when the housing market crashed. And I had my pet sitting company at that time, and I literally took it on my own. Some of you might know this story. I decided, screw the recession. I went really deep into Dan Kennedy's No BS Marketing to the Affluent book. I've done like about 3 book clubs on those. Guys might have been a part of it. And in that, he talks a lot about affluent minded. It's not necessarily like you got thousands or millions of dollars in the bank. It's just that I believe that I deserve better, or I believe and deserve, or my dog deserves better. It's that kind of mentality and how to attract those kind of people and why and what they spend their money on. And so I want you guys to hear this episode with that mindset, that grain of salt, because in order to really get through this, you're going to have to be seeing ahead. Take those blinders off right now and start looking ahead with me. Because as I mentioned in the last podcast that I just recorded, all of the predictions I had for this year are coming true. Everyone was having their best months in March. We're on revenge vacation right now. Anyone who's trying to create vacations right now are getting sticker shocked. I mentioned last podcast, just to fly to Dallas right now, it would be what it would cost me before, like first class to the East Coast. It's astronomical. And there's a lot of different reasons for that we talked about on last podcast. But, so vacation looks like it's really great for right now, but I question what's going to happen in the fall and in the winter, because I don't think the travel prices are going to go down. And then with the dog walking, I predicted that a lot of dog walks are going to start dropping off during the summer because people are going to be tightening their wallets. They're going to say, oh, my kids are home from school, or they're going to say, oh, we're traveling. We're just going to take a little bit time off from dog walking. And that's why we talked all about that during first quarter on this podcast. So if you haven't already, go ahead and listen to those when I'm talking sales. A lot of it was January, February, a little bit the beginning of March. Go ahead and listen to those because that is all very still relevant now. But today we're going to get into, the economy can be very tough on a lot of business owners. There's a lot of you out there, again, in 2020, I predicted it, that they've either sold because they just didn't want to keep doing it. They were tired, or they went under, which leaves you, my loyal listeners, in this really cool position because now all of a sudden you have a larger market share. And you can't hire fast enough. That's what a lot of people are having a problem with right now. But what's happening is you're starting to hire and you're getting that going, but you totally lost sight of marketing, which is why I help you with hiring and I help you with marketing. Better Marketing with Bella, plug right there. But while we're thinking about all this stuff, and a lot of you guys are doing a lot of price increases right now, I want you to think about, number one, you need to do your homework. What do I mean by homework? It means that before you can begin changing or setting your prices, you need to have a firm understanding of your business expenses. Now, not just expenses, but also what you want as profit or cushion in the bank. So I always consider saving as an expense, it's something that I have to pay every single month. That's how you start aggressively saving. And that can be both for the business and for you personally. You are in business not to be in debt or to the business, or a slave to the business, or not have money. Okay. You are in business to prosper and to help prosper others who you hire. So I really want you to do your homework. It includes everything from the cost of goods sold to your overhead costs. And you know how much it costs to run your business. Hopefully you have a bookkeeper. We've also talked about that on the podcast. And you can start considering how to price your services. Okay. When you know how much something costs, whether that's labor, which is often like the largest cost, and then all the other expenses from your Better Marketing with Bella membership or your mastermind membership. Just kidding, kind of, not really. Sorry, not sorry. Or your website hosting and monthly website, expenses, or uniforms or supplies, or your software, all of that stuff all goes into it. And you need to know what profit margin you're running every single month. And I would really encourage you to have your P&L broken down into things like dog walking versus pet sitting if you do both of them. And so that takes a little bit of planning, but do your homework. Okay. You need to understand exactly the health of your current situation, or the outlook of where you want to take it. The next thing is, everyone says to consider your competition. I'm going to say this: don't consider a competition. I don't care what they're doing. And again, this is my philosophy, and you might disagree with it, and that is okay. It is okay for us to have different opinions on things sometimes, but I'm going to tell you where I come from with this. I don't care what the competition is doing. In fact, the only thing that I cared about what the competition was doing when I had my business was to find out what they were charging so I could charge $10 more than what they were charging. And this is back in 2016, you guys. That's 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the lowest I was charging was $25. The highest I was charging was $35. Okay. And I want that to be a wake up call to some of you who are only charging $25, because guys, that's the bare minimum. 2 years ago, I would have said 22 is the bare minimum. Now it's 25. And this is not price fixing. This is me telling you exactly what's going on in the industry and what numbers it's going to take for you to have bare minimum to make things work and thrive, not just survive, but thrive. Okay. So number one was do your homework. Number two is don't consider a competition. I do not want you to think about that, because you don't know how much money is in their bank account. You don't know what their expenses are. You don't know what their mortgage is. You don't know what their aggressive or non-aggressive savings is. You don't know anything about that. And when it comes down to it, most of your competition is selling the same thing. They're selling dog walking and pet sitting. And guess what, my jumper? You don't. You don't, because marketing to the affluent is giving them an experience like we talked about on the last episode. Marketing to the affluent is solving problems, not in exchange of money and time. So when you're just like the Cheesecake Factory and you're like, oh my God, I got all these services and it's this price and it's this price and it's this price, and you're not talking any time about what actual problems you're solving, you have already dumbed yourself down to be a low costing, high volume, hopefully, like Rover pet sitter. Okay. This is a luxury service. And if you want to really understand, or you want to like rebuke me on that, that's fine. I really encourage you to go download, if it's on Audible, or go buy the book, Dan Kennedy, Marketing to the Affluent. It's the No BS series. He has this whole series of books. It's called the No BS series. And it is amazing. He even talks about the pet industry in that. All right. So number one, do your homework. Number two, don't consider your competition. Number three, think about the value. I just kind of started talking about that a little bit. So in addition to considering the cost of your product and services, it's also important to think about the value that they provide. Okay. Are they getting their guilt taken care of because they are on back-to-back Zoom meetings, like about 40% of the country right now? Or are you able to slip in and out of their home without knocking on the door, making the dog go nuts? Like, can you like slip in the back door without the dog even knowing, and get the leash on him and go take him for a walk? And the only thing that they get is a little message on their phone that shows, hey, I'm here with the dog. Hey, the dog's good and he's all great. And then the dog's like doing what I call the frog on the floor afterwards, with all the legs out, the mouth out, and he's just panting and he's like, I mean, like what kind of value you're providing. In addition to the value of the actual service, what kind of value you're providing in the way of making it a clean and easy experience for them to just book with you and know that they've got a confirmation. Are they calling you or texting you or emailing you or however you do communication, which is a whole nother story? Are they knowing what to expect from you all the time, or are they put on hold wondering if their problem is going to be solved? All right, so value comes in a lot of different ways, and I want you to consider that. That was number 3. Number 4 is considering staff wages. Now, don't just consider the wages right now, consider what they're going to be. Okay. When setting prices, it's important to think about the wages that you're going to need to pay your staff members in order to attract and retain quality employees. You do need to offer a livable wage, but not so much in the pet industry or dog walking or pet sitting, because most of the time they're not looking to get their mortgage paid for them, right? They're not looking for full benefits. Now, I know some of the bigger companies do provide this and they can actually make some really good money. And so you excluded, but the majority of the people that are listening to this podcast are the ones that have part timers. So oftentimes the people that are going to be working for you live in a household where there's other streams of income coming in. So it's really important with the staff wages to, when you consider them, to know at what point you can do it. Now, if you've taken my pricing structure and strategy class, which is right on the website under the tab shop, it's only $79. It talks about your labor should not be more than 40%. In fact, I think your labor should be about 32 to 35%, because after you plus with taxes, it'll still be under. And then that gives you wiggle room for wages each year or every 6 months or whatever you might want to do. But that is a consideration that you need to understand. And you also need to understand what is happening in your state and where that minimum wage is going. All right. Now, with that also comes, and this kind of goes into uh, like the homework, the number 1 is also talking with your CPA about the numerous ways that you can maybe pay or assist with mileage reimbursement or gas expense or the time that it takes them to drive, something like that. Okay. And it kind of varies. There's a lot of different things you can do. This is why you need a team. All right. So talk to your CPA. Now, the 5th thing is creating a pricing strategy. All right, you guys, if you've been in my posse and you've heard me talk, you know that I do not believe in having one price set in stone and that's it. Absolutely not. People like to feel like they're getting deals, especially the affluent minded. They also don't like to be nickeled and dimed. It's like, make it easy for me to understand. Don't make me feel like I'm penalized because I have extra, love in my house, meaning like I just got like a rescue dog or something. Let them know that it's like, I used to do one price full service. Make the pricing structure so easy that they don't even have to think about it. It's very easy. Okay. What I mean by this is some of you have a tab that says services on your website, and then you have a drop down of all your services. Now, while that might be good for SEO, and I'm sure Erica will hate me for saying this from marketing, which is amazing, by the way. If you're looking for website hosting or a new website, go to jumpconsulting.net/barketing, BARKETING, and you'll go straight to her site and see everything that's there. And that is our affiliate link, in full disclosure. But anyways, on your website, it should be like services, and then you show me all your services. That's it. Because what do I choose if I have a cat and a dog and I'm going away and I also want you to walk my dog while I'm going away? Do I click cat services? Do I click dog walking? Do I click vacation care? Like, it's way too complicated. And it's pet sitting and dog walking. It shouldn't be complicated, guys. So keep that in mind. The other thing is that maybe someone's going away and they want you for 2 weeks, 3 times a day. Maybe someone is going away, or, they want you 4 or 5 times a week to walk their dog week after week after week. You have to appear that you're giving people a discount. I believe like people love to feel like they're being taken care of. And so if that means that, and I'll give you an example from my old business at the time, remember this is 7 years ago, or 4, 5, 6 years ago, that our lowest rate was $25, because I knew that I would be making my 30, 30, 40 mark at the time, 30% for me, 30% for the business, 40% for labor. And I knew that when I went up on my tier 29, 33, and 35, that I would be actually making better profit and my labor costs would be even lower. And so oftentimes in the conversation, I would start off at $35 and then I would give them a quote unquote discount to 33, 29, or 25, depending on what they were signing up for. So you guys, this is a strategy that you can use. There's many other strategies out there as well, but I highly recommend this. Okay. And before you say to me, Bella, that's not right. That's not fair. That's who made these rules? Who said that we needed to charge everyone the same price? The same people that are booking their trip to Cancun are not paying the same price for their air seat, like on American Airlines. They're not paying the same price for their hotel room than the person next to them. I mean, come on, you guys. Like, you got to have an open mindset, like a big mindset to figure out how can I make this work for me. And now what people do is they say, I'm never offering discounts. All right, let me just give you the gun so you can shoot yourself in the foot. Like, no, like that's not it. Like, people want to feel like they get it. So inflate it so that you can then give them a discount. Trust me, please trust me. All right. So to recap, if you're going to be recreating your pricing structure in this economy, you have to do your homework. You have to know what your bare bone expenses are. You do not consider the competition. I don't care what they're doing. In fact, the only reason why I want you to consider them is to go higher than them. I want you to think about the value that you provide and make sure that that is actually being communicated in your social media and on your website. I want you to also consider staff wages and where those are going. And then I also want you to create a pricing strategy. If you guys have any questions about this, we actually do talk a lot about finances in the mastermind. And as I mentioned on the last podcast, we actually have been doing the mastermind for 5 years and we repeat our topics every single year, but we bring new information each year. So essentially, we've got about 5 months worth of stuff about financials, including pricing structure and strategy. So if you really want to dive more into that and you want to have a group think and you want to bounce ideas off of great people who are really thriving and making their businesses work and constantly putting themselves out of jobs and then building higher and building jobs and then I highly suggest you get in the mastermind. Just jump on over to jumpconsulting.net/mastermind. That's jumpconsulting.net/mastermind. We'll give you $50 off if you do an annual subscription. However, it's really just month to month. It's $177 a month, and you get so much for that. I'm not even going to waste your time telling you because if you've been listening, you already know what you get in there. So this is my personal invite. Consider this my personal invite to you. If you have any questions, you can always email me, bella@jumpconsulting.net as well. So you guys, I want you to really think about before you make that next price increase or the next time that, you really want to change things up in your business. Think hard about that. Think about how you can color outside the lines. This is your business and you don't have to do what I say and you don't have to do what your competition is doing. But what you have to know is where do you want to go and how is the best way to achieve that? I'm going to leave you with that, you guys. I hope that you have an amazing day. This has been another episode of Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta. Remember, when life gets you down, always keep jumping. Bye now.